October 2024 Panama Mission by Chuck King. This is the hotel that we stay in called the Rio Playa Blanca in Rio Alto, Panama. We get a tremendous deal here instead of doing everything separately. This was the first meeting we were at in Ephraim's church, and all the people came forward because they want to be the disciples that Jesus wants them to be. They want to be those who fulfill the Great Commission. And so they came forward for prayer, and Giancarlos led them. We had a tremendous service. That was Sunday morning. We got here Saturday, and that was the Sunday morning service. Giancarlo Carlos spoke a little bit, and then the team was introduced. That's our team, both ministry and building team there in the front. And we had the service continue with all kinds of praise and worship, and the people were seeking the Lord. It was a mission service. They had a special service set aside. And then after the praise and worship and prayers that were led for missions around the world, Ephraim, who is the pastor, and we had met with him in the beginning before this service. He had given us direction. Here's the beginning of the work team, as you can see here. And there's Chrissy. She works hard. All of them worked hard. They have a feeding program around noon where the kids come from school and get a meal. Then they go back home or back to school. And the church does this all through the week for them. And Billy and the team gave them some gifts. You see Art and Rick there. The guys, they would work hard. They would take a break, stay lubricated with water and sodas, etc. It was so hot, they sweat clean through their clothes. But they did a great service for this church. They had been wanting to do this project for several years, and because their funding was limited, they weren't able to make any progress. But the New Life Center came along and decided to help them with this project and invested missions funding into the project, and a team came, and you see the results in this video. We had an evening service with a family on Monday night. They had lost their loved one, and we had a time gathered together, had a worship service there, and we preached, and a lot of the people responded. Something like 14 of them stood to and came forward to receive the Lord when Giancarlos and I were preaching. Giancarlos also led worship. This is Pastor Ephraim's wife, also talking to the people. Giancarlo sharing, led worship, and people just sat around beyond the porch area there. But it was a very powerful meeting. They responded. You can see they're interested there, and we have had them really tune into the scripture and came forward. This is the next day when we're out at an outreach, and the team paid for the food and the drinks when we went out, and the ministry team did a number of ministries for the children. We had reading glasses for the adults, and the kids got gifts. They got teaching as well as the food. We will be with the adults teaching the chlorine generator. That's what we were doing here. And afterwards, we had them stand if they wanted to follow the Lord, and there was a good response in this church also. And you can see here, these are the people that are going to do the chlorine generator project. Ephraim and Radamet do a good job training them. And this is the children's ministry taking place in this church. And over here we have the safe water. This was our third day of ministry. We had the same sequence. The children's ministries would be going on while we were teaching the chlorine generator, and these people were separate just off to the side from the sanctuary, And everybody responded to the Safe Water Ministry. They're enthused about that, to the children's ministry and all the different activities they had. This is the pastor of the church there where we were, and it's Michelle with her object lesson head that she shared with the children. We had Giancarlos and Radamet. Uh, this little guy loves dogs, as you can see. He made friends with dogs wherever he was. The teenagers like to explore a bit, but we kept them from going too far. And you can see the beautiful, lush, tropical Panamanian uh, flora and fauna there, right beside the church building in this particular place where we ministered. So the 3 days of ministry, we're driving out a couple of hours, doing the ministry a couple hours, and returning a couple hours. And this was the job for the work team. You can see the progress they were making every day. And even when the children showed up, they were ministered to. You see, praying for the people here in this meeting because they wanted prayer. So we prayed for them. And this is one of the 3 places. This was on a very windy road way out in the countryside. And it was like a roller coaster driving on that road. And in the daytime, it would be fine, but toward evening, we often had rain, and it was hard to see as well on the roads, but we made it through fine by the grace of God. And in each place, all 3 places, we did the chlorine generators, we did the children's ministry, the eyeglasses, the reading glasses ministry, which really helps the older people. And the Lord really moved among us throughout the entire week. And we had a tremendous uh, team working together in both ministry and in the work project of the classrooms at Ephraim's church building. We thank the Lord that we could go and help these people. Not many people go out way out in the countryside like we did on this trip, taking the supplies, driving on these crazy windy roads, following Radamet in our other 2 vehicles. And these guys labored hard all day long and did their part. Panama is a beautiful place. You go up into those hills, and that's what you see, this beautiful tropical, almost like a jungle. And this was the last church that we were at. These pictures are a little mixed up, but you're getting the idea that these ministries went on in all 3 places. On the back roads of Panama, there's the drinks in the cooler and the sandwiches in the plastic container. You see Ava there doing some face painting, and they played with the children as well for a little bit. And it was, the kids are very well behaved, actually. There's Michelle doing face painting. Very, very well behaved children. They appreciate the kinds of things that the team brought for them. You can see it's a nice crowd there. Once it filled in, they kept coming and coming. And we just kept doing the trainings all those 3 days. We have multiple pictures here so you can get an idea. I can't avoid taking pictures of dogs. They're the same everywhere. And so Ephraim did it, as I said, does a good job along with Radamet. This day it was just Ephraim. The people were very interested because their water is making them sick. So they appreciate getting the chlorine generators to help their people stay healthy. More pictures of the progress on the building project. You see the whole team here. We took a picture of them. They're not quite finished, but they're getting very close to being finished. We thank the Lord for the opportunity and for the grace to do this work for Jesus Christ.